Well, hello guys, welcome back. I had a strange thing happen. I had a thing where it felt like I had kind of walked behind the scenes and seen something I didn't. We were watching something on Nostradamus. And I said to Loki, I said, something's always bothered me. And he's, I said, why do these prophets, if you want to see them as a prophet or whatever, fortune teller, seers, whatever, why do they always speak in gobbledygook and God speak in gobbledygook? Why can't any of you speak English? And he just looked at me like, this one figured something out. Gonna have to kill her. And you know what I mean. Why can't they ever just tell us something in English? I said, at least in the Old Testament, Yahweh had the class to speak in words people could understand. Every other guy's like, so Loki decided to get back at me. She will. My Pinterest completely disappeared. My boards existed, but I could not get to see any of my boards or interact with them. And I ended up back on YouTube, and I ended up watching an old R.L. Stein thing. And in both stories were Loki making a point. In the first, this very spoiled child had everything she could ever possibly want. She lived with her wonderful family in a huge house. And her dad buys her this expensive as crap doll where the doll is life size and it's delivered in a limo, and they go ride in the limo for a couple $100 and they get their hair done. And it's just, a money pit because this thing's going to get its own cell phone with its own phone number, and it has all these accessories. Basically, it would have been like getting a new child because it was that expensive. And the girl was a terrible, self-centered brat, and she was screaming, why can't her doll have a cell phone? Why can't her doll have all the accessories? And there was something wrong with the doll. And then the mom got the doll, and the mom was acting just as goofy. And in the end, the little girl, came this close, spoiler alert, to losing her life because a doll switched places with her. And she almost got thrown into the garbage truck, which is where she belongs. She was such a pretty child. And, only because how things work out in these stories, she was discovered and she was saved. Her mother cried over her, and tears of love brought her back. Yay. But that was the thing. And then the next story, this kid asked Santa Claus's angel to help him, so now we pray to Santa Claus, apparently. I don't know what religion Stein practices, but the way Santa Claus answered the prayer was to send a gremlin to the family, and it completely destroyed the home. And the reason he did this is because the family was falling apart. The parents were getting divorced, the kids were total brats, they had all these electronic gadgets. And instead of trying to interact with them, and they were just bratty. You would want to slap these children. And if you don't believe in hitting children, and I don't, you would just want to slap these kids. They wanted more and more and more and more. All they wanted was things. They didn't care about their family. In fact, their family was in the way, and did they have to do Christmas? So, Santa made sure he got their rear end settled. And they lost absolutely everything. I mean everything. Like, the house exploded because the gremlin demon gargoyle thing is running around spitting acid on everything. So, somehow, after losing absolutely everything and probably realizing nobody else would have them, because I'm a cynic, the family stuck together. The parents weren't getting a divorce. The kids were grateful by some kind of Christmas magic, I guess. And, they learned a lesson about being a family. So apparently you should watch What You Ask Santa For, kiddos. And it was Loki making a point. It was like, you already have everything you could possibly want. And now it wasn't so much the asking him why God speak kind of like in gibberish. And why I should have framed that better. I should have said, why can't we understand the gods? Not, why do you all speak in gibberish? Looking back, that wasn't the wisest thing to say. But, It was about being content with what you have and realizing the blessings you do have. And if the gods feel like speaking in gibberish or we just hear gibberish when they talk, that is what it is. And I think he was saying you're reaching a little bit here, dear. All we humans want everything we want, right? Like, why couldn't Nostradamus have written all of us a personal planner for our life? Why can't Loki just come down and tell us in plain English, this is what'll happen, and give us lottery numbers and, you know, everything else we want? And you can feel his temper getting thinner and thinner and thinner as you ask stupid questions. But it was good. He got to bark at me, and he took my Pinterest away. He does that now. It's like his version of being a parent, kind of, and taking the kid's cell phone away. He takes my Pinterest away. So I just figured I'd share that with you. It was a lesson about, be grateful for what you do have and realize that, often we humans do have everything we want. We usually have working utilities, and I know this theme on this channel, we usually have working utilities, clothes, food, and shelter, praise to the gods, but we want more because we live in this society, as Loki has pointed out to me repeatedly and angrily, that says, well, you can't be happy with just having what you need. You need to be upset and discontent because you're not traveling the world, or you don't have $1 million, or you don't have all this other stuff. You have to be sad and angsty and complaining to your gods and getting in the vortex and casting spells so you become a millionaire. Loki has told me repeatedly we are simple people, and each time he does it, his teeth are grinding together a little more. So before he pops any teeth out of his head, I think it's a good time to, absorb the lesson, because, in all seriousness, you just have to unfortunately stumble across the news today to see people that have it a lot worse. We're not locked up into teaming camps. I'm sorry, happy summer camps for children. We're not being dropped in the desert and told to march to shelter or die. We aren't going through the middle of a war, thank the gods. So, in the grand scheme of things, we do have it fairly good. We're just taught by our society that we shouldn't be happy, even though we have everything we need, which is stupid. Because then you will never be happy, because there will always be something you don't have. And we kind of know this because there's this little orange Oompa Loompa I think we all know of, that's probably the most unhappiest person on the earth. And it's funny because they're always saying they're the richest Oompa Loompa. They have the most toys, Oompa Loompa, and yet they seem like the saddest, loneliest person on the planet. Which doesn't make anything they do right, by the way, but they seem sad. So, yes, Loki says Cheeto Boy. Loki, bad. But Loki has political ideas. He doesn't like a lot of politicians. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.